One of the best ways to take your images to the next level is to get a portfolio review. What's a portfolio review? This is a portfolio review. Hello, my name is James. I'm a portrait photographer from Portsmouth in the UK. You've probably not heard of me, and this is a portfolio review of Bear Vision Media. Bear from Bear Vision Media got in contact. You can Google him, you can search him through the social media networks. He is Bear Vision Media. He recently dropped a video documentary on former NXT UK superstar Trent Severn. You can see that on his YouTube channel. I recommend you give that a look. He submitted a portfolio of images for us to review today. We're going to be looking at some of the elements of these images, such as cropping, composition, use of light, but most importantly, impact, and offering some feedback that hopefully everyone can learn from. Remember, these are just my opinions, they're not fact. This is just my thoughts on these images that Bear submitted. This is the first time I've seen the images, so as they open up, this will be the first time I've seen them, so I'm just giving you my honest feedback, and hopefully that impact will really come through on some of these images. Some really striking images in this portfolio. We're going to start off with this first image here of Vicky Haskins looking straight down the middle of the lens. Nice composition on here and a nice use of trying to do something with the hands here to sort of bring elements of framing around the face, which I really enjoy. Two catch lights in the eyes there, which are really nice. Tiny little bit of work here needed just to get rid of some of the hairs just to the right hand side of the lips there, and the light on the left hand side is just a tiny, for me, this is just for me personally, just a tiny little bit overexposed. We're starting to lose some detail in the skin tones here, so either feather the light on this one, which means just turning the light slightly away from the subject to give us a slightly softer light and also decrease the power of the light, or just decrease the power of light, or option number 3, close down the aperture, or option number 4, take off some ISO if you can. But lots of different options there. The other thing with regards to posing on this one here, this hand here up on the collar here, we can see the back of the hand, like you see the back of the hand here. What we want to try and do with hands is we want to sort of almost try and show this side of the hand here. We can still see, can you see this? You can still see 4 fingers there, and you can still see the side of the hand, still see the shape of the hand, but it's a lot less big than that fist looks there. And when that hand is up next to the face, you can see there that the hand is almost pretty much the size of the face. And with portraits, we want to see eyes, we want the face to be dominant, we don't want anything really competing it. And just by turning the hand there, you slim down the hand, make it more flattering, but also you decrease the size, which means that the viewer is taken straight to the face, which is what we want there for this shot. But a good use of colour harmony there through her outfit, but also through the subtle tones of red in the background. So really enjoyed that shot there of Vicky. Next shot here of Leon. We're using a really small aperture here, a really tiny narrow depth of field on this one, and what that's done is it's allowed some of the ambient light to come across the chest there, which I really like. Gives us a nice little bit of separation there from our subject to the background, and a lovely little bit of kicker there on the side of the face here. The light's so far round to the left hand side here that we've only got the one catch light in the eye here. The reason why we want 2 catch lights, or why I try to look for 2 catch lights, is just because they add a little bit of sparkle in the eyes. It just drags your eyes straight into both of them. If it's done deliberately, that's a different matter. Just general rule of thumb, you know you're onto good lighting if through the lens you're looking down there, you can see 2 catch lights coming through there. If you've got the modelling lamp on in your flash unit, you may not have that. The difficulty with working with narrow apertures is that sometimes you can miss the point of focus, and if we go super close in here, we can see that the point of focus on this one is on the eyebrow, and it's such a narrow depth of field that we've just missed the eye, and I really want to see that eye sharp and in focus. But overall, good composition. If he's bringing his hand up into camera here to get a nice shot of the hand in there, try and get the whole hand, try and get the whole sign in there for us if we can. Bring it up a little bit higher, or just come back a little bit, or widen your angle a little bit if you're using a zoom lens. But again, a nice color harmony with the bandana coming in with those sort of tungsten yellow style lights across the chest and across the side of the face, and a good portrait here with good attitude. I really like this one. Jack Selstrom here, nice processing on this one. It's quite a harsh processing. We've lost some of the detail in the skin tones under here, but I think that actually suits the narrative of the shot. Good use of framing the face between these sort of archways of the ring gear here coming through, and a nice well, we can see the lights coming through their skulls at the top, which to get those lights balanced must have been quite a tricky thing, I think. The reason why I like the processing is because it's given us some colder skin tones, and that really lends itself well into Jack's character. I think if where we turned the head here, we see that the nose has broken the cheek. It's just come to the side there. Now, some photographers will tell you that's wrong. I'm not that sort of photographer. I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong. But what I'd like to see from that is to see that the eyes not coming back into the camera, but deliberately looking off camera, giving an air of mystery to the shot so you don't know quite what he's looking at. He's looking at something off camera, gives you a sense of intrigue, and would also, with the slight turn of the head there, give us a slightly more flattering neckline just on the side here. As it is, his eyes are sort of coming towards us, but because he's wearing those contacts, they're not coming straight through the middle of the lens. They're not having the impact that we potentially could want. But overall, a really striking portrait and cleverly handled. So I really enjoyed this one. Charli Morgan's entrance, we come to ringside here. Good control of difficult lighting situations. We want to see as much fan engagement as possible when wrestlers are entering the ring. That's really difficult when a lot of the entranceway, the fans have got their back to the entrances coming in. But what we have got is a good mid-air shot of Charli there jumping up in the air, so good timing on the shot. The most endearing thing about this shot to me, though, is this little kid down here, just looking on, caught in the light and a little bit of rim light around the back and surrounded by that smoke and fire, and just seeing Charli as she's doing that big jump over the entrance there. It gives a good feel for an event, and it's a promoter's image. It's an image a promoter can use to advertise the show for the next event and advertise something that the fans would really enjoy. This one's called Drake Hooker, and I love the processing on this one. I love a black and white shot. I love the shallow depth of field, so we can see some of the ring ropes in the background, so we can establish that we're inside a wrestling ring. But we feel like we're inside the wrestling ring with the guys, which I think is really good. We're working with a really high spotlight on this one here. You can't control the lights. That's just down to the production team there ringside. But what that's done is it's really darkened those eyes, and we really have to fight there to have a look at the expression coming through, which I really like. We've super processed the hair so that it's coming across as super white, framing the face nicely. I would tone it down just a little bit, be a little bit more subtle with those tones, and really create a moody looking image across the whole piece. But I really enjoy the moment that you've captured there, and submissions are really great for capturing those moments, and it's a great look from, if that is Drake Hooker at the top, that's a lovely look off camera, and I enjoyed that image immensely. Good portrait backstage here. We have got good balanced light coming across, almost like a sort of like a loop lighting there coming from the left hand side across here. Good use of the towel over the shoulder, and actually feels like a really natural, believable backstage portrait. Really like the use of the lights either side, the green working with the pink in complementary with each other. I'd want them possibly even a little bit harsher, just to get a little bit more rim lighting on either side. If you are in control of those lights, I don't know if you are. The crop through the hand at the bottom, just come back a little bit or go in a little bit. Try not to crop through limbs, try not to crop through hands, try not to crop the edge off of little things if we can. Just a little bit distracting there, but the expression and the connection with the camera and the connection with the viewer straight down the middle of the lens, really well captured there. Huxley is this next one. Lovely profile shot. It's a shot that I'm a huge fan of in wrestling, a black and white profile looking off camera. I try as much as I can try and get my profiles to look from left to right. It just leads in the Western world, we read from left to right, so it leads your viewer's eye sort of naturally across the frame. But I like this. I like the use of the chain around the neck. Almost want to see a little bit more of that if we can. You could possibly go in a little bit closer and make a little bit more of that. It's a good use of light coming across the face, and a good expression there coming off the side there. And this profile not only has really established this sort of grizzled veteran face sort of looking off camera in profile, but it's also made a big thing about the big arms. It's made it look like this guy works out and this guy's a big guy who's going to beat you up, which I assume is what we're trying to get across here. I like this shot because we've tried to take something that's done a lot and we've made it our own. We've made it a little bit different with a slight Dutch angle on that. So we've tilted the camera just off of 45 degrees here. The expression here for me is all about Kanji. It's a shame we've just nipped off the edge of her shoe there. I like the shallow depth of field, and I like her slightly leaning into negative space. Not the greatest of moth on the far side. It'd be nice if there was some interaction there. These are things that are just down to timing. They're not necessarily in your control, but the fact that we've chosen to focus on Kanji in the foreground is really, really helpful for us here. In post, I just lose this foot, lose this little spotlight up here, and I'd lose this little fire escape sign on the side there. But other than that, you've tried to do something different, keep going with it, because you're going to get something in the ring that's going to really lend itself well to this and really, really create a super, super dynamic image. Kenta and Jacobs, this is really well timed. You've got the jump on its sort of like on its highest apex sort of coming through. Again, working and experimenting with the Dutch angles, which works really, really nicely. It's a shame this spotlight isn't right behind him. Again, this is a little thing that's out of your control, but what it's done is it's obliterated the arm. And that's a shame because the hand on this side is super. And it's just lost it on this side there, which is a little bit of a shame. But it's difficult. These are difficult shots to get, and they're difficult shots to get in focus, and you've got to be quite brave to go in to get this close into the ring to sort of get these shots. This is one side of the ring that you can take this shot from. You're getting a more traditional sort of like jump across here. If you get underneath on the other side of the ring, that you'd be super, super brave to do it. But if you can hold your camera under there and just shoot, shoot, shoot and hope, you might get something super different and something really, really cool. But I love the timing on this one, really cool. You could potentially look at processing everything in this frame down just a little bit so that these two stars in the ring are even brighter against that background and really, really draw our eye into the frame. Jon Moxley celebration. So a decision was made here about point of focus, and Bear's chosen to focus on Moxley in the background. It's a decision. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just going to give you a what if. Moxley looks great in the background there, and we got the war wounds in the back, and we got the camera pointing up at him, which I really, really like because it makes him look like he's the superstar. You got the security guards in front, and the crowd sort of shouting out to him. What I would say is, Trent is towards us, looking towards us, with expression, with blood, with thumbtacks. The way that Moxley's body position is in the background, we naturally assume that he's the victor in this scenario. We naturally assume that he's on top. He's elevated. That is assumed. But he's quite small in the picture. If he was out of focus, if the focus wasn't on him, we could still assume all of that anyway. But we would see all of the detail in Trent in the front, and the anguish and the blood and the thumbtacks and everything in detail there. It's a what if. We've made that choice. Mox is the superstar. It's 6-1, half a dozen to the other. I'm just giving you a what if on this one. Well handled though, with the lights in the background, difficult lighting scenario ringside. You've really, really handled that quite well. This is framing. I love this. I love this shot. I did this shot at the last wrestling show that I was fortunate to photograph at. This is great. It establishes good guy versus bad guy. It establishes the start of the battle, and it establishes it in a really, really good shape. This triangle is a really, really powerful shape for photography. On this one, you want to eliminate as many distractions as possible. I like the fans looking over from behind. Just lose that fire escape sign, and if you can, just lose this guy coming out of the side of the boot here. I assume another videographer working with you ringside. But keep experimenting with these ones and keep getting those reactions, and keep getting, and this one works really, really well because we've got Driller Maloney's, boots in the background, so we can establish who those two guys are, all on the canvas with the colours of the Federation there on the canvas. Another really, really good one that a promoter should be able to use to promote their next show. That's great. Love the processing on this one. You got slightly more musky, slightly more vintage feel, brown feel to the shots here. Good action shot, and I think this one, you might want to experiment, have a look at a recrop on this one and see how this one looks as a long, thin panoramic. So there's not much at the lower half and not much at the top to sort of distract us. And those ring ropes are sort of providing a nice sort of framing around the shot here. It makes me want to see what happened next, which I think is a good thing. But again, well observed, and you're getting close to the action, which I love. difficult lighting conditions here. And where the previous one had really nice tonality, we put a little bit of post-processing in there to sort of like warm those tones and give it a unique feel. We got all sorts of different lights coming in here, really bright highlight on top of the face here, sort of green feel to all of the tones, especially to the guy in the foreground. And this is where we've made the choice to focus on the guy in the background. I think that's the right choice. He's looking on. We've got a great expression from the referee behind, and we can see the carnage in the foreground, which is sort of leading our eye up and into the top of the picture. The lighting on the guy at the back there and the processing on there, just a tiny little bit hot for me. I bring that down just a little bit so he's not so bright and not so dominating in the whole image, but it looks rough, it looks ready, it looks like a difficult lighting situation that you've been faced with there, and I think you've handled it really well. Here we go. So we go back a couple of images where we say that the focus wasn't on Trent. Now it very much is. We can see Mox in the background, but that's good for context. We've got a lovely red and sort of green tones of these backlights here in the background, but this expression here, this is what your wrestlers are going to want. This is what your promoter's going to want, and this is what fans, want to see so much of the time. Trent's done a really good job here of getting a lot of colour and showing out. This is showing out to ringside and showing out to fans, and you've got those wild eyes there with those clenched fists. It's a really striking shot, and it's one that wrestlers, I know, when they go to a lot of effort to get themselves through matches like this. Hopefully they like images like this that we take ringside that really capture that. But he's totally, because we use a narrow depth of field, he's totally separated from everything else around. The fans are dark in the background. There's just a few little kicker lights which are working in nice complementary unison in the background. We've got our opponent in the background there. I don't know if that's one of Trent's hairs or something coming out of Mox's head. I assume it's something coming out of Mox's head. I might have got rid of that. I don't know. We could maybe look at getting rid of that. I don't know whether it's too much of a distraction. We could maybe have a look at a tighter crop on that one, but that's a really wide-eyed, bushy-tailed image. I really well captured, and I think we've saved one of the best ones till last there. So there we go. Those are the images of Bear Vision Media. Like I say, check out his YouTube channel, check out all of his social media handles. He's obviously an exceptionally talented photographer and videographer working here in the UK, and we wish him all of the best for his future work moving forward. If you're a photographer, you don't have to be a wrestling photographer, you can just be a photographer. We could give you a free portfolio review. Email me, portraitofawrestler@gmail.com to inquire. We'll see if we can get one done for you, see if we can feature you on the YouTube channel. If you've enjoyed this, there'll be loads of videos coming up here that you can also enjoy in the channel. Give them a watch there. If you've liked it, then you can give it a like, you can subscribe, you can tell people about it. That's a nice thing to do. And if you've got a recommendation for a future video in and around the world of photography or wrestling or both, leave it in the comments below and we'll see if we can do it for you. Thanks for watching, and as ever, all the very best.